Click the link in the description for your free Amsoil catalog. Before we get started, I'd like to give a quick shout out to some of our friends. The Eastern Snowmobile Racing Hall of Fame. Search for them on Facebook. Central Minnesota Pond Racing. Search for them on Facebook. The historic Lancaster Motel for the ultimate Eastern trail riding adventure. Crane's Snowmobile Museum at 172 Main Street in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Vintage Snowmobile Club of America Quarterly Magazine. The New Hampshire Snowmobile Museum at Bear Brook State Park in Allenstown, New Hampshire. And lastly, if you decide to advertise with the Vintage Snowmobile Podcast, this could be your advertising message. Good evening and welcome to the podcast. I'm really glad you're here. As usual, I have a robust lineup of vintage snowmobile entertainment on tap for you tonight. But before we get into all of that, I want to make sure that everything is working properly. So if you can see my face and hear my voice, I get that backwards. No, I didn't get that backwards. If you can see my voice and hear my face, please leave a comment and let me know where you're viewing this from. Now, to our first-time viewers, if this is your first time joining us tonight, I hope you have a good time with us tonight, and I hope you decide to join us here each and every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern Time. This podcast simulcasts to 8 different places across Facebook and YouTube. So wherever you're viewing this tonight, just circle back in 1 week's time, and we'll be waiting for you with another fun-filled episode. Now, to our regular viewers who are here week after week, month after month, and season after season, you guys are the ones who make this possible, and we really, really appreciate that. We've got comments aplenty coming in. Let's take a few, and then we'll get right into the program and bring our friends on and get the party started. Here we go. We've got Rob Spranger in the house saying yo. So Rob must be related to our guests tonight, which we'll be introducing you to in just a couple of minutes. Jeffrey Patton says hello. Good evening from Pennsylvania. Nice to see you, Jeffrey. Mad Dog is in the house from snowless Wisconsin. Yeah, it's just that kind of a winter, isn't it? For sure. Alan Gove says, good evening, Mike, and I'm looking forward to meeting Alan Gove this weekend at the Crane Show in Lancaster, New Hampshire. Ben Thomas, our good friend, is in the house, says, good evening, sounding good in Carterville, New York. Now, Ben just had a vintage snowmobile show over the weekend, and he told me they had a really good time, which is wonderful to hear. Jim Holbrook from Thetford Center, Vermont, is in the house, regular viewer. Nice to see you, Jim. Dave Lowry says, can hear you loud and clear. Hello from Alberta, Canada. Repeat viewer, and we appreciate that. Jeff Patton says, looks and sounds good. Thank you so much. Kevin Culhane says, loud and clear in Sudbury, Ontario. Regular viewer. Thank you for coming on, Kevin. David from Alaska Railroad says, sounds good, looks good. Regular viewer from Wisconsin. We appreciate your coming on. Rick and Katrina Dumont say, loud and clear here, and it's nice to see you. Alan Gove says he's from New Hampshire. Thank you for that. Mike Bartlett says, hi, guys. Sounds great from Durhamville, New York. James Whiteside says, loud and clear, Mikey. Cool deal. Someone on Facebook. Oh, Andrew Strakos from Granville, New York is in the house saying hello. Nice to see you, Andrew. Tim Bewick says, he says, yes, hello to Mike, John, and James from Marlborough, New York. Thank you so much for coming on. We appreciate that. Reese Fleury says, good evening, everyone, regular viewer. And we've just got a couple more here, and we'll get the party started. Also, Vernon Center, New York, a regular viewer says, sounds good. Our good friends Stacy and Art Fosler from Platkill, New York are in the house. Nice to see you. Last comment, and we'll bring our friends on. Midnight Rider says, greetings from 40 degrees in northwest Minnesota. So it sounds like most of the snow belt this winter is on the mild side. That is a real bummer. But with that out of the way, we're going to have some fun tonight, and I'm going to tell you why. We're bringing our friends on. Let me get the shot lined up here. Now, these are some good friends of mine. You're looking at John and James Spranger. They are twin brothers. John and I have been friends for a number of years now, and this is my first time meeting his twin brother, James, which is a real treat to meet James. Gentlemen, how are we doing tonight?
Good, Mike.
Well, good. It's really nice to have you on.
Can you hear us okay?
Oh, yes. Excellent audio. And then, of course, our dear friend and our co-host, Rob Hilditch, is in the house. How you doing, Rob?
I'm doing good, Mike. And yourself?
Doing well, thank you.
Is it warm where you are, too?
Yeah, I think it was 35 today. It could be
I'm
worse.
actually in shorts right now.
Shorts. Oh,
yeah.
That's just so wrong this time of year.
Yeah.
Unbelievable. But we've got a couple more comments that have come in.
We had
Let's
another
take those. Go ahead. You've got what? Go ahead, John. What were
we
you
had
saying?
Another day of 48 degrees.
48. Unbelievable.
Another day of 48 degrees.
Unreal. And then Teresa Spranger is in the house, says, good evening. And it's nice to support her dad and her uncle. Wonderful. Cool deal. David from Alaska Railroad says, good evening to Rob, John, and James. And James Whiteside says, what's a snow belt? LOL. Yeah, that's a thing of the past, I'm starting to feel. But yeah, so we are here tonight to talk about stories and of racing and snowmobiling back in the day. And I guess the best place to start is, John and James, how did you get into snowmobiling? What are some of your first memories and experiences with snowmobiles?
Well, we got our first snowmobile in 1965. And that year we had very little snow. And we were on a farm. Of course, then the sleds had boggy wheels, so you didn't need a lot of snow. And we'd run around on the farm with the snowmobile and that. And then we finally got another sled the year later. And then we both got kind of into racing sleds then. So
nice. And I think we have an image to support that. Is this bring back memories? Is this what you were talking about? These are the days?
Yes. And Jim was a body man his entire life and an awesome painter and fabricator. And the two sleds on your left, the one with the black dot, is a 67 Olympic. And of course, Jim has to always make everything look cool in that. So he made it into a black dot. And
nice.
Then the next sled to the right there, that's a 65 Olympic. And Jim painted a black stripe on it to match the newer sleds, the 68s that are sitting to the right of that. So way back in the early years, he was 15 years old. He was already customized painting our sleds, you know.
That's amazing. That is amazing. And this is another image from that time, or maybe a few years ahead?
Yes. And then there's a picture, that'd be our father in the red. And me to the far left, Jim is on that Eland. And of course, Jim paints everything to his liking. And he painted that black and white on her to match the 72 TNTs.
Nice.
And then the black Artie Cat was my uncle from Milwaukee that was up.
Nice. And everybody was having a great time, I'm sure.
Yep.
Good deal.
Now, how many of those machines you still own?
I wish I had them all.
Yeah, no doubt. No doubt. And yeah, from here we can go over wherever you like. As far as, you know, we've got all of the images that we've got ready and video clips. Is there anything specific you'd like to go to as far as the next step with this? Or?
Just bring them up and we'll kind of talk, Mike, on it as we go.
Sure. All right.
There's Jim's RV. That's a 76 that originally had a yellow hood on it. And Jim put his spin on it, painted it black and striped it out. And that was a 340 RV. That was one of his sleds.
Beautiful. Yeah, that's a cool paint scheme.
Yeah. And there's a picture of me racing in first place there with my free air 73 Skidoo that I won a lot of races with. And we'll be talking about that a little bit later.
Yes, we sure will. In fact, is this
that's the picture of it there.
There we go. Yeah, the TNT free air.
Yeah.
Very nice. And some trophies in front of there from racing, I presume.
Yep. In those days, there was more cash payouts than there was trophies, but that's kind of the way it was. And then actually, when we got into racing watercraft, there was just medals and cash payouts. There was no trophies at all. So, yeah.
And was this strictly in Wisconsin or other states too, or did you get up into Canada at all? Or
No, just Wisconsin.
Wisconsin, yeah.
Basically
Cool.
central Wisconsin.
Central Wisconsin. Perfect. And then let's see this shot here, another angle.
Yep, that's another angle of the race sled. That was a fast sled in its days. Won a lot of races with it. And that's Jim's, what, 75? 78. Okay, that's Jim's 78.
Now that's a cool paint job.
That's a 440 free air.
Yeah. And is this a paint job that Jim did, or is this factory paint? Or
I think that one looks pretty much factory, huh, Jim? Yeah, he says.
Yeah.
He put the checkered tape around it.
Nice.
And put the stripe on the tunnel.
Oh yes, yeah.
You know, he always puts his little accent on everything, makes him look good.
That's cool.
And there's my racer. It's now in Terrebonne, Quebec. And that's a picture of it sitting in Quebec, Canada. And I could go back, I think it was 74. No, yeah, 74. My buddy, he lettered race cars in that. And he's the one that actually lettered the legend on there. I won a lot of races with it. And he says, I want to put the legend on there. And then on the black, on the sides, he had J for John. And then my last name, Spranger, painted on there. But that's been removed off of the hood. But other than that, the sled is exactly the way I had it.
That's amazing. And a little later in the podcast, we're going to... Go ahead, Rob. I'm sorry.
How did you find the sled after that many years?
Rob, I'm on about 1 million different snowmobile links, or whatever you want to call them, and groups, I guess. And one morning here in December of 22, I'm drinking coffee and I'm paging through the free air group, and all of a sudden I see the legend. I'm like, that's my sled. So then I messenger the guy, and here he's in Terrebonne, Quebec, Canada, and he sends me his phone number. And, well, it went from there. We talked for about 45 minutes. He could talk pretty good English, pretty much French Canadian, and it was just hilarious. I mean, he would try and tell me something, and then he's like, no, that's not right. And then he'd say it different in English, and we were just laughing on the phone. And it was really great. We got to be good friends.
That's cool.
That's nice you got to find that.
Yeah.
Definitely. And then we're just getting started on that topic too, because we've got more images and video.
Yeah, we got all kinds
of. But before we go further, we've got a few comments that have come in. Let's stay caught up on those. Let's see. We've got Judy Pilsky saying, "Good evening, brothers. This is this is pretty special. Cool deal. I totally agree." And here we go. Sky Stan Lake says, "Yay to Jim. Woohoo. Cool deal."
Come on. Yep. You're good.
It's all good, Jim.
It's all good.
It's all
yep.
good. It is. Todd McMillan says from Madoc, Ontario, Canada. He's in the house. James Whiteside says bubble ups. He must be talking about those bubble hoods.
Yeah.
James Whiteside says classics. Absolutely. Those images we were looking at. David from Alaska Railroad says, "You're from central Wisconsin. Cool. You aren't too far from me. I'm just north of La Crosse, Wisconsin."
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Very cool. James Whiteside says, "Love my ski-doos." Yes. Well, cool. So let's see here. I'm going to put the menu up. We're going to go on item number 2 right now. We're going to do some quick announcements. Then we'll get right back into the program. We've got more images to look at, more video clips. We're just getting the party started. But Rob, if you're ready,
I'm ready.
going to put you full screen, and Rob's going to talk to us about Amsoil.
Okay. Last week we talked about the injector racing oil, the injector oil, all the products about for 2 cycles with the chain case oil and everything like that. But if you're like me, I used to be able to snowmobile right out my backyard and take off for days at a time. Now I have to trailer. So if you got a pickup truck, $80,000 truck, and you're just driving it back and forth to church, you don't need Amsoil. But if you're hauling a trailer, as soon as you put 4 sleds in a machine, you're adding the weight to the trailer, and the transmissions run hotter. Amsoil has a number of products. Transmission fluids. So a transmission fluid is like a hydraulic pump. And the life of the transmission depends on the temperature. So if you can drop your temperature of your tranny by 10 degrees, you'll double the life of the engine. Amsoil synthetic oil will drop it by 20 to 50 degrees. So every 10 degrees you drop it, doubles the life of the engine. So if you're pulling a trailer, your transmission is going to be running hotter, that's for sure. And by using a product like Amsoil, you can make your transmission last longer. It's also pours better. Last 4 years ago, Amsoil did a test in Vegas with taxi cabs, and they were doing 40,000 kilometers a year. After 2 years, after 3 years, they brought them in with 180,000 kilometers. 4 of the taxis were changed 3 times, and the 2 at the Amsoil wasn't changed at all, and its oil was in better shape than the ones that were changed 3 times. The oil lasts longer, gives you more performance, and makes the transmission last longer. Amsoil has a complete line of all the products available you'd ever need. So if you want to know more about the Amsoil product or how to get it, Mike has a set site you can click on to get a catalog or get the best possible discount you can on any of the products.
Absolutely. And we've got this promotion going now too. So if you join the preferred customer program and you order over $75 worth of product, you're going to get this free 3-pack of funnels plus 6 pairs of nitrile gloves. And that promotion goes until February the 13th. So if that appeals to you, jump on that right away. And then, of course,
you don't have to order a full case. You can mix and match. So you want a couple jugs of injector oil. You want to get 6 bottles of tranny oil, some gear lube, anything like that. You can mix and match, get your $75 worth. If you order 100, you get free shipping. So you might as well go for the 100.
Absolutely. And the secret to getting the best discounts and the free shipping that Rob was talking about is to join the preferred customer program. It's very similar to a Costco Costco program. It's $10 on the front end, but in most cases on your first order, you're going to save much more than that $10. You'll get that right back. And then once you hit $100, you're getting free shipping. If you're ready to jump on that and do that, just click the link in the description that says preferred customer. Takes you right to the link. Just a couple of clicks to join the preferred customer program, and clicking my link will associate you to Rob and I as your dealers. And then once you've made those clicks to join the preferred customer program, click the Amsoil logo and start shopping and add items to your cart. Every item you add to your cart will come in at the deepest level of discount because you've joined that preferred customer program. So it's an incredible value. Most cases, we're talking 25% off the retail price, which, like I said, you're going to more than offset that $10 fee right off the bat. Even with a $100 order, you're going to make that back big time. And there's also a link in the description for a free catalog. So let me get this back. Here we go. And I also wanted to talk to you about the Lancaster Motel, our good friends at the Lancaster Motel. If you're interested in some trail riding and combining that with some history, there's no better place in the East to snowmobile than the Lancaster Motel in Lancaster, New Hampshire. They're just a short walk from Crane's Snowmobile Museum. The trails you'll be riding are the trails created by the first snowmobile club in America, the Snowdrifters in Lancaster, New Hampshire, and you can still ride some of those legacy trails. I've got a quick message about the Lancaster Motel. Let's take a look at that. It's just less than a minute. We'll look at that and we'll come back on the other side and continue the podcast. I'd like to give a quick shout out to our friends at the historic Lancaster Motel in Lancaster, New Hampshire. The Lancaster Motel has been serving snowmobilers since the 60s, and they are the perfect eastern trail riding destination for snowmobilers young and old. The Lancaster Motel is right on Corridor Trail 5 in Lancaster, New Hampshire, with plenty of parking for vehicles, sleds, and trailers. Plus, the Lancaster Motel is within walking distance of Crane's Snowmobile Museum, plus restaurants, shopping, entertainment, and more. Click the link in the description to learn more about the Lancaster Motel. There we go. And before we go back to the program, one other quick announcement. This coming weekend, Saturday the 3rd, in Lancaster, New Hampshire at Crane's Snowmobile Museum, they're going to have the 10th annual Vintage Snowmobile Show. And it's going to be extra special because it's the 10th annual. So Paul Crane, who's putting on the show, he's created some extra categories. He has extra trophies and a whole bunch of other fun surprises to try to make this show extra special. So if you're in Lancaster, New Hampshire, or thinking about driving to Lancaster, New Hampshire, you can always stay at the Lancaster Motel. It's just a short walk away. I hope you decide to join us. I'm going to be there, and it's going to be an incredible amount of fun. And I think, John, this is a perfect segue. Let me pull up this image. I think maybe you have some show and tell from your visit to Crane Snowmobile Museum this past summer.
Yeah, this last July, I ended up to Gordman. We rented a UTV. I had the granddaughters with us, and we went up climbing on the UTV. And when I came back down, the guy that was inspecting our machine, he's Wisconsin. So he says, I was just in Wisconsin. I says, what part? And he says, Appletown. Well, Appleton. He picked up a 433 GPX snowmobile from Wisconsin and brought it back. So then I said to him, I says, how far am I from Lancaster? He says, 22 miles. Well, it's a must have. You got your bucket list, go to Lancaster. Absolutely. So we went up to Lancaster, and I had the granddaughter take a picture of me underneath the Crane's museum there. And then we went to the museum, and you got more pictures, Mike, there. It turned out that Paul Crane ended up seeing me in a picture in front of the museum. He walks up, I introduced myself, and we start Paul and that about the museum, and he unlocks the door, and we start going in. And well, this is kind of a long story, but I had my son's Tesla, and my granddaughter come up to me. She says, Grandpa, she says, we only got enough miles to make it to Lincoln. And right now the car went into battery save mode where it cools the battery down, and it's using electricity. So I had to cut it short with Paul, and we took off for Lincoln, New Hampshire, so I could charge the Tesla up to make it back home, you know. But it was fun. I really enjoyed talking with Paul the time we had together and that. And I didn't get to see the whole interior and all the snowmobiles inside, but I seen it on Mike's podcast already, so I didn't really miss anything. And the other thing, I asked Paul if Midge Rosebrook was around, and because I'd like to meet up with him, and he said that Mitch was out of town, so yeah, I didn't get to see Midge. So that was kind of our little story there.
Yeah, she'll have to come through again and make another visit.
Yeah, we weren't planning on stopping in Lancaster. It was just kind of a spur of moment. And, of course, you can't charge electric car in Lancaster. So.
Yeah, that's maddening. No pressure there, right?
No pressure, no. In fact, we made it back to Lincoln, New Hampshire, and there was only 3 miles left on the car for a charge. Ooh. And the whole time going there, I was just nervous. I could just see we have to tow this car, you know.
Yeah.
When I finally got to the post, into the charging station, I plugged the car in, and I'm like, oh boy, it's time for adult cocktail now, you know.
Yes. Yeah, that's gotten it really close. Now we've got some comments that have come in. Here we go. Let's see. Trying to find my place here. Oh, here we go. Okay, so Ben Thomas says, awesome that you found the free air, talking about the legend that you found your old sled, the current owner of it. Now, Tim Bewick says, I would like to give a big shout out to the gang at North Shore Vintage Sleds for hosting the vintage ride in my nephew's memory, Matty Bewick, this past weekend in Syracuse. Even without the snow, it was a huge success. Thank you from Matt's family. Well, we appreciate that. We profiled them a couple of weeks ago, and they just had that show over the weekend, and it sounds like it was a wonderful show. And really nice to hear from you, Tim. And definitely hats off to Matt as well. Mad Dog is in the house. Says, Mr. Spranger, did you have a relative named Leo that worked on transmissions?
Yes, I do. And I worked on transmissions my entire life.
Wow. Small world. That's amazing. Now, Teresa Spranger says, hello, Papa, from grandson Erin.
There you go.
Cool.
Yep.
Very nice. Ben Thomas says, awesome, John, that you were able to locate and speak with the current owner of your old free air. Josh Leverker says, good evening from Turin, New York. And Ben Weaver says, hey, Jim, ski-do or don't. Very cool.
There you go.
We've got one more, I think. Listening on the way home from work, regular viewer Rich Shad from upstate New York. Cool deal. Nice to have you on here, Rich.
Yeah.
We appreciate that. So I think what we'll do is we'll shift gears and maybe look at a couple of video clips, and we've got more images to look at too. But This first video clip, I think, is some Arctic cats at the museum in, was it St. Germain?
Yes, it was Memorial Weekend.
Nice. And you live close to St. Germain, correct?
Yeah, I'm about an hour and 5 minutes.
Yeah, nice.
And in the
So, yeah,
summertime, we live up north.
Nice. So anything about these cats before we look at them? Or
Well, it was Memorial Weekend. They had their snowmobile vintage show and swap meet. And it was a huge show. It is every year. And I got there early and I started filming a little bit and try to get stuff for the podcast. And then after I was there about an hour, maybe an hour and 10 minutes, I got called to work. So I had to leave. So I got cut short. And there was a lot of people still bringing their sleds in yet when I was leaving.
wow.
So I filmed what I could do in that hour and a few minutes,
Sure. Well, I'm glad you got what you did. Yeah, let's take a look here at these racing cats and we'll talk about it on the other side.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That's nuts.
He said it's a one and done. It's not going to happen again.
No. That's a long way to haul too.
And then that's the
like this here, I kind of watch it.
Very cool. Very cool. Rob, any reactions to what we're looking at there? Oh, are you there, Rob? Are you? I don't know if maybe Rob's frozen or can anybody else hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you, Mike.
All right. Yeah, I have a feeling Rob may be frozen. If you can hear us, Rob. Oh, here we go. Can you hear us, Rob? Yeah, I'm not sure what's going on, but yeah, any comments about what we've been looking at, John?
Well, they featured Arctic Cat this year, and that's why Arctic Cat had their big lineup of all their different sleds. That was underneath in the little room there by the where they have all the food and that.
Yeah, very nice, very nice. Yeah, some really nice looking race sleds there.
Yeah,
and I think Rob is logging off and back on. That's usually what we do if there's any kind of an issue, any kind of a technical issue.
Yeah.
Most instances that will resolve it, and hopefully when he comes back, he'll be able to contribute to the conversation here because I'm sure he's got some reactions to this. But yeah, some beautiful sleds there.
yeah, they had some beautiful Snow Pro sleds.
Yes. Now the formula was now were these all brought from CAD or because I'll tell you where I'm going with this. That formula looks a little bit like one owned by Mark Bristol, but I doubt it's his because he's from Vermont. But do you know anything about that formula?
I tried to zoom in on that picture. I don't know if you can get any better on it, but somebody that owned it, I thought was like from Minnesota. That
Cool.
sign in the front there, that orange sign. I don't know if you can get a better view of it. Probably not.
Unfortunately, I can't. No,
But
I don't think it's Mark Bristol's, but he does have one
there you
like
go.
that. There we go.
73 handicap Formula 2. It just tells you what it is. It doesn't say whose it is.
Yeah, I can't see a name on there either.
I would think the page that was on the windshield probably said who it was. And
yeah, that might have something.
Sounds like Rob is getting his volume back or his audio back.
There, you kept freezing up, but you're better now.
There we go.
Okay,
much
yeah.
better. Yeah, you're better too. But, I don't know how much of this video you caught, Rob, but did you have any
Well, I
reactions
saw the whole video.
Oh,
There were
good.
some nice
Okay.
looking cats in there.
Yes. Yeah, for sure. And we've got comments coming in too. Let's take a look at some of these. No spotted cow out there. So, James Whiteside says that's a nice cat house. Absolutely, it's the best kind. Ben Weaver says he likes the chrome skis. Yes, absolutely. And then another clip I want to play. I think at this same event that you were at.
Yes.
You saw some sleds that have been seen on this podcast many times, and this is out in Wisconsin. And these sleds are from a guy who lives near me in Vermont. He lives like 5 or 10 miles from here. He went all the way out there, and you recognize the sleds. And any comments about that, or I hope I didn't take away from what you were going to say about it.
No, that's fine. The other part of this building, they had show sleds there, and I come up on these two rups, and I'm like, boy, those things look familiar. And here it's Parento's rups from Vermont.
That's amazing.
So raised two sleds. And then I kind of hung around to see if I could find him and I asked somebody if he was around there, and they said, well, he was here like 10 minutes ago, so I just missed him. And I never did get to catch up with him. Then I had to go to work, so.
Sure. Yeah, that's a bummer too, because he's a great guy to hang out with.
Yeah, I would love
he was at the Newport Center show this past weekend, and if I were a betting man, I'd bet that he's going to the Lancaster show this coming weekend as well. He usually goes to that show. But without further ado, let's take a look at these rups.
It's Memorial Weekend. I'm at St. Germaine, Wisconsin, and the first two snowmobiles I come up to are these beautiful rups, and they're by Ray Vento from Newport, Vermont. 72 Nitro, 440. Here's another one of Ray's, a 73, 295. Really, really cool sleds. We're the Dragon of Manta, and I'm here early in the morning, and they're just starting to bring sleds in. His hood is a little different than that. I'm not sure. Here's the one. Some nice Artie cats. Snow Pro. Got a drag sled there. Yamaha B-Max.
Yeah, very cool. Very cool. Yeah, what are the odds of seeing, some sleds from Vermont out in Wisconsin like that?
Yeah,
That
and
must
so
be a 2-day drive for him to get there.
Oh, I imagine so, yeah. And not only that they're from Vermont, but that you recognize them from the podcast, that's wild.
Yeah.
But, that is one of the cool things about this vintage community. It is a small world.
It is.
It's a small world for sure. Oh, and I wanted to ask you, I'm probably not the only one wondering about this, but that drag sled, let me see if I can find it. Did you know anything about that? Any details on that? Or
I was trying to get in there to talk to the guy that was behind there, and some people came in on, but it had twin turbos on it, and
Wow.
it was a 4-cylinder engine or suspension or anything. I think it's all prefabricated or whatever. So
yeah, that's pretty outrageous. I've never seen anything like that. Did anything catch your eye in there, Rob?
Well, my summer project is going to be one of those EXT specials.
Oh, nice. Yes. Let me see if I can
Yeah.
find that.
Yeah.
Right there.
yep.
My daughter
Those
hit a
are
tree
cool.
with one about 5 years ago, and now she wants it for Christmas next year. She wants me to fix it, so that's going to be her Christmas gift next year.
Nice.
Yep, same year as that one.
Nice. Oh, and we've got comments coming in. Ben Thomas says, beautiful Rups. Bet Ray won the longest traveled award. That's possible. That's entirely possible. James Whiteside says that Manta is gorgeous. Absolutely. Jeffrey Patton says those Rups were good grass drag sleds. Yeah. And David from Alaska Railroad says my eye caught that TXL. Yes, I had a feeling you'd notice that. Let me see if I can find that again. Because there we go. He's a Polaris man. Very cool.
Right
and then we've
there,
got
yep.
one more. We've got one more clip from that show. Or any more comments on this before we move on? Or? All right, let me pull up the next clip. We've got one more clip from that event. There we go. Let me pull it up.
That's quite the trailer.
Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Any comments about that or any thoughts?
I was wondering where we're going to start seeing some Yamahas.
Yes. Yeah. There's quite a row in there.
Yeah, that looks like a Tim Bender built one, that one.
It does.
Yeah.
Yes. And what about this drag sled? Anything about that or?
That's a Yamaha too. That's set up for racing on blacktop.
Wow. So it's got little wheels. Oh yeah, it does have wheels under the skis there.
Yeah, and they had a flat track on it with no grips, so it was
Wow.
like a belt. So
Oh wow, yeah. And then yeah, that whole line of Yamahas here: SRXs, SRVs, Exciters,
Yeah.
Phasers. Very, very cool. Now we've got comments that are coming in. Let me find my spot here. right here. Oh yes, Steve Woodward is giving a thumbs up for the RUP. Absolutely. Rick and Katrina Dumont says, I love that SRX with the black gold. That was the coolest one. 79. Yeah. And that was a hot sled that year for sure.
Yep.
James Whiteside said, in 40 more years, my Renegade will be vintage. Yeah. It will come to that. Absolutely.
But don't forget, he'll be a vintage too.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. If we're even around in 40 years. Now, I wanted to shift gears because this hour is flying by. We're already like almost 45 minutes in. But the legend. I've got a video clip on that. I think it's, you told me the gentleman who currently owns it made a video for you, and I've got it here to play. Anything you wanted to comment on to maybe set that up, or any comments we should know about that?
Yeah, when we went to my son's place in Stowe, Vermont, we had a house and dog sit for 2 weeks. And I got a hold of Danny, the guy that's got my sled. And I says, I'm about 2 hours and 25 minutes from you. Would there be any chance I could drive and come and see it? And he was all excited. He says, yes. So the wife and I, we took off with the car and we drove into Canada. And we had to go through Montreal to get to Teleberry, Quebec. And we went over to Danny's place there. I pulled up and he had all his sleds sitting out on the yard, including my Legend. And I said to Danny, I says, I don't speak French Canadian, but 2 words. I says, I know bonjour, I says, and I know A. And he says, A ain't the word. So you might as well throw the clip on him because his wife videoed me on the snowmobile and everything, and we started it up, and it was really cool. What a nice guy, and his wife was awesome.
That's wonderful. Well, let me play that clip. We'll take a look at that. Here it is right here.
Quit talking, just smile.
I'm smiling.
Okay, you go stand by him now.
Yeah, that was really nice of them to do that video for you.
Yeah. What really was nice about it, when I looked at my sled, it's exactly the way I had it set up when I raced it. All the changes I made to it, everything was identical yet. I changed some of the suspension geometrics and did a little work with the exhaust and all that. And I cut the steering stop off and re-welded it back farther so I could turn sharper, because that was the biggest problem with the free airs. You couldn't turn left sharp enough because we didn't race on ice. We raced on snow back in the 70s. There was no ice yet, racetracks. So that was a big plus. I mean, that's why the sled was really competitive, and I won a lot of races with it.
That is cool. That is cool. And also, I'm starting to move the show forward quickly just because in the interest of time, but I know that your brother James, who's there with you, has done a lot of custom fabrication and custom paint and so forth on sleds, and I wanted to show some of his projects and give you a chance to talk those up.
Yeah, this sled here, it started out as an Anderson chassis, and Jim kind of made it look like a twin track sled. He called it a Formula 100. And part of that hood on there is actually a Mach 1 hood. He cut 4 inches out of the center of it and refabricated that. And then he built the whole side and the back. There's another picture showing the back of it. And that was a pretty awesome little sled. I mean, talk about fabricating a sled. That sled has been in Eagle River. We had it up at the races, and in Bombardier, the guys that were running the parade, they wanted that sled in the parade. So Jim's daughter ran it around the Eagle River racetrack in the parade lap. And then his son, when he got a little older, he ice dragged it and got a couple trophies with it. So it was kind of a neat little sled. Jim built it from scratch and built the suspensions, everything for it.
That's amazing. And it's nice that it's getting all those reactions.
Yeah.
There's so much interest in it.
That's
And then
a
there's
cool
this one
looking
too,
project.
I think.
Yeah, there's some more of Jim's silver and the striping on the sides. And I think that was what, a 88 maybe it was? What? 88? Yeah, and then that's a family picture of the family. That was in 1989. And Robert
89,
wasn't even a year old yet. He's on that little sled, the yellow sled that you slide the hill down.
Wow. And then we've got this one too. That's some custom work on that too, right?
He's got the windshield blacked out and the stripe or painted down towards the nose there. He really had some good ideas on graphics and stuff.
Yeah, that is sharp. And then this is his current ride? No, that's not the Scout.
670. That's the one he went out west with the guys from Bombardier. They'd go out every year for a week and run the trails and stuff out in, was it Wyoming? Yeah, Wyoming.
Wonderful. Very cool. And I think this is his current ride, correct?
This is his current ride that we have now, yeah.
Nice. Very cool. Oh, we've got comments coming in. Let me switch. Whoops, I'm sorry. I'm in the wrong spot here.
Nice job on building that little twin tracker.
Yeah, he did an awesome job on it.
Yeah. Do you guys still own that?
No, he sold it.
Oh.
Now, Ben Thomas says, sitting on your old sled must have brought back many fine memories. How awesome of Danny C.
Yeah, that was
Talking
awesome.
about the legend. Absolutely. Yep. James Whiteside says, what is the name of the event at St. Germaine on Memorial Day weekend?
That was a vintage snowmobile show and swap meet. Nice. They have it every year.
Nice. And Tim Bewick says, priceless, nice sled. And Rob Spranger says, that's my sled. That must be that one, the small one he was on.
Yep, that was Robert's.
That's cool. Ben Thomas says, sitting on your old sled must have brought back many fond memories. And we think we looked at that one.
How many owners between you and the guy that owns it now was there?
There was one other owner before Danny and me. Yep. I bought a brand new.
Nice.
Wow. And David from Alaska Railroad says, awesome job to Jim on those sleds. He said you did a great job with those graphics and the custom body work.
Yeah,
and Ben Weaver says, I ripped Robert's last MXZ. And Mad Dog says, that's a nice looking free air TNT, one of my favorite sleds. I sold mine, also wish I still had it. Don't we all, right? Ben Thomas says, loves the custom flair James brings to his sleds. Yes. Someone on Facebook says, you're very, very talented, James. Great work. Someone on Facebook saying, great story and history. James Whiteside says, only 7 hours away. That might be that event that they were talking about in St. Germaine.
Yeah.
He says, somebody is saying St. Germaine, the sled roundup, all vintage.
Yep.
Rick White says, great looking sleds. Thanks for sharing. And out on Ben Weaver says, out on Highway J. Cool deal. So we've got another video clip of some of your current sleds. Let me pull that up here and we'll take a look at that. Anything you want to say about this before we roll it, or just react to the other side? Or
which one you bringing up?
This is the one you sent me recently.
Okay.
The video clip of the sled.
Yeah, I was kind of depressed that day, and we got no snowmobile trails to ride, and we just got 1.5 inches of rain. And I opened up the garage door, and I'm like, "Here's all my sleds, and I can't even ride them yet," So I pulled up the phone and I started running a video. I thought, if nothing else, we'll put it on the podcast tonight. So yeah, bring her up, Mike.
Let's do it.
It's January 26, 2024, and the temperature outside is 39 degrees. We just received 1.5 inches of rain last night. We got about a couple inches of snow on the ground. Everything is all slop. So here's here's my sleds waiting to get out on the trail. And my 96 MXZ. It's a 583 engine. Then I have a 98 Formula 3. It's a 700 triple. Both of these sleds I restored. They run really great. And then we have a 2006 MXZ 600 HO SDI. This is brother Jim's sled. And then I got my 2023 MXZ 600 EFI. And I just got that one this summer, or this fall I should say. And kind of biting at the bit to get on the trails with this thing. I rode it around the house a little bit. Seems to handle, and it's got plenty of speed and power. And so right now we have no trails to ride. The only thing I have to ride is my side-by-side. One thing nice about in Wisconsin, all the roads are open to side-by-sides except for the 4-lane highways. And they're really getting popular. They're almost as popular as the snowmobiles were in the 70s. Everyone's got one, and in the summertime when I'm up north in Wisconsin here, I can go to St. Germaine, Eagle River, and then we go to the Michigan border with this side-by-side. Very fun. You get to ride all the trails through the woods then. So anyway, pray for snow, and hopefully we can get these sleds on the trails. Can't wait. This triple, that thing is fast. It's fun. And that MXZ, that's a cross country. It's got a lot of suspension. That's fun to drive. And I'd like to get my new sled on the trail and enjoy that. So have a great day. Think snow, pray for snow. We'll catch you on the flip-flop.
Very cool. Yeah, I bet you're just dying to get that thing out.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
You know, we don't have any snow hardly up north at all.
Crazy, man.
I was going to say we don't hardly have any snow at all. The trail's been closed. So our UTV club is getting together this weekend, and we're going to have a ride up to patronize all the small businesses because they're starving. There's no snowmobiles up there. Nobody's hardly ice fishing because the lakes, the ice is unsafe. So the revenue is really down. So our UTV club has got like 47 that I know of right now that are going up, and they're going to break them up into 4 group businesses up there, which is pretty cool.
Yeah. That's nice that people are thinking of those businesses because I'm sure they're struggling with this. Definitely. And any reactions to any of this, Rob? Or
I got one right in between the two of them. I got a 99 Formula Deluxe with the ARC suspension in it, but it's only a 670. I just finished redoing it this year.
wow.
And it's sitting on the trailer just waiting to get out.
It's that kind of a year.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Aren't they all?
Yes. Oh,
Yep.
we've got a few more comments coming in. Let's see. I'm just trying to find my place here. Here we go. Someone is saying big show in Mount Calvary, Wisconsin. The Piston Holy Land Snow Flyers Vintage Piston Burners Winters Show and Ride. Must be this weekend coming up. If you're in the area, be sure and check that out. And here we go. Now we're making sense here. James Whiteside says Bombardier for president. Yes, it's going to be better than what we've got now. Yeah,
Yeah, we need a good president.
yeah, we sure do. God. Dave Lowry says, beautiful. I love the bee on the side of the sled. In fact, let's take another look at that bee. That's Jim's sled, and that's a cool looking graphic on the side of there.
Yep.
Right there.
Yeah. It's
And
got
then,
one on the windshield too.
Oh yes, yeah.
Very
And then let's see. David from Alaska Railroad is saying, "Nice sleds, John. I always favored those earlier Rotax engines with the rotary valves. Great engines." And Ben Thomas says, "Yes, pray for snow." David from Alaska Railroad says, "Great show, guys. Thank you. Thank you for viewing and for being such a regular viewer." James Whiteside says, 8 more years. It'll be Wisconsin. Oh, he'll be a Wisconsin resident.
Cool.
And Northwoods of Wisconsin is hurting bad. Tourist money is hurting bad. Yeah, it's got to hurt the economy, I bet. Yeah, Reese Fleury, yeah, I agree with what you're saying. You need to get your sleds on here, Rob. If you have a chance, Rob, we'd love to see some images or some little video clips of some of your sleds.
Hopefully, next couple of weeks I'll have them out, but it doesn't look good yet.
Yeah, we've got just barely enough. The trails are open here, but they're just barely, just barely enough for some riding. Ben Thomas says, "Agree, Reese." Yes. Todd McMillan says we have 2 to 3 feet of snow in Ontario. Wow,
Wow.
that must be up north or something. I don't know.
Yes, Sudbury.
Sudbury. Okay.
But they're still
Ben
not
Weaver
open up there
says-
because of the creeks.
Oh yes, we can't cross them. Yeah.
Yep.
Ben Weaver says, "Woohoo." Rob Spranger says, "Great show, guys. We thank you for that." Tim Bewick says the same, and we thank for that as well. Midnight Rider says, another great show. Thanks to all. Love checking out the race sleds." Well, cool. Now I'm going to remove this video. We've got one last quick video. Oh, we've also got our mascot in the house.
There we go.
Put your full screen here for a minute. Daisy Lou, right?
Yep, Daisy Lou from
Hey, Daisy
Mexico.
Lou.
But she loves the snow.
man.
Because she's a rescue from Mexico.
Don't we
Very
all?
cool. Yes. So we've got one last video clip. This is a story. This is a video that John sent me like a few years ago. Just kind of a quick anecdote that he was telling. I'll just play it and we'll react to it on the other side, and then we'll wind down the program. Let's take a look.
Hi, I'm John Spranger Jr., and I started snowmobiling in 1965. That was our first snowmobile we had, was a Skidoo 10-horse. And then in 1966, we bought a second sled, and that was Olympic S, and that also was a 250cc sled. And that was the first sled that I raced. And I worked on the engine. Being in stock A, you can't do a whole lot of things to the sleds. And I set the timing as far ahead as I possibly could without burning a hole in the piston. And then I worked the carburetor to give it more fuel and air. And that was about basically all you could get away with back in stock A in 1966. I have my racing bib on that is 55 years old. And USSA. That was the first bib I got when I raced my first race. And then we had, I got to tell you a little story. The 250, after having a timing so far ahead like that, when you'd start it would backfire once in a while. And then every time when you shut it off, it would backfire like a gun going off. So one day I went out in the garage to start the snowmobile up, and I gave it gas and I backed into the lawn tractor. So being a young knucklehead like I was, I grabbed the skis, I pulled it away from the lawn tractor, got back on the snowmobile, give it gas again, and it backed into the lawn tractor again. So then I shut the engine off, and I pulled the snowmobile away from the lawn tractor, and I started the engine back up again, and this time I'm looking back, and I give it gas, and the snowmobile went forward. So I guess I invented the first Skidoo snowmobile with reverse. But anyway, I'm not going to talk about my racing career this time. I got a couple sleds that I worked on this last summer that are restored from bumper to bumper, and I'm going to show you them. I got to switch the screen here.
Can't hear you, Mike.
Froze up, Mike.
No, I locked my mic. Sorry about that.
There you go.
And that's where the video stopped. But those are the sleds he's talking about. There are the sleds that were in his garage.
Yes, you don't need to play them again. So yeah,
Sure.
yeah.
And then,
15 years old, trying to get more horsepower and speed out of an engine, and not having much knowledge. He's running all kinds of exciting stuff.
Sure. Oh, and that bib reminded me, we forgot to show this image here. Any comments on what we're looking at here? I know there's a lot going on in this image.
Yeah, that's my race bib, and then kind of my man cave wall. That poster in the middle there, it says it's all 126 snowmobile manufacturers in U.S. and Canada, and it lists all the different snowmobiles companies that were making snowmobiles at the time.
Wow.
I got that from the Hall of Fame in St. Germaine.
Yeah, that is nice. It's good that somebody did that.
Yeah. And some of those companies I never even heard of that's on there, never even seen the sleds. You know, it's kind of interesting.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Well, that's
Well,
a nice
cool.
collection you gentlemen have.
Say that again.
That's a nice collection you gentlemen have.
You're breaking up, Rob.
He's saying it's a nice
Nice
collection.
collection you gentlemen have.
Well, thank you, Rob.
Well, cool. So yeah, it's this hour has just flown right by, and the old saying, "Time flies when you're having fun." That certainly is true tonight. And
Yes,
I
it
wanted to
was.
thank John and James for coming on, and Rob, of course, and all our viewers. It's just a wonderful time, a wonderful way to hang out. And any final comments?
Thank you, Mike,
John?
for all you do for the. Yeah, thank you, Mike, for everything you do for the vintage snowmobiles. I mean, the podcast is awesome, and we're just doing a great job every week with it. So, really enjoyed
Thank
being
you.
on. Now I can check another list off, or another check mark off my bucket list.
Yes. And I have to thank you, John, too, because you've been watching my videos since even before I was doing the podcast. Before the podcast, I was just making little quick videos like, "Hi, how you doing?" kind of thing, and then it evolved into a weekly podcast. And you've been on right from the very, very beginning. So I wanted to thank you for that, and it's been wonderful knowing you as a friend. In fact, let me pop a couple images. This is you and I hanging out a couple years ago, and here's you and I last spring hanging out.
Yeah.
And just really enjoy our friendship, and it's nice to finally meet your brother James. Nice to meet you, James.
Meet you.
Same too, he said.
Cool deal.
Yeah.
And Rob, any final comments before we close?
That was a good show, Mike. Good to meet you, John and James. It was nice to meet you.
Yeah, nice to meet you, Rob. Yeah.
All righty. All right. Well, everybody, have a nice evening. And as always, we give the last word to our friends at Amsoil.
Yep.
Have a good one, everybody.
You bet. Bye-bye.
Hello, everyone. This is Rob and Mike. How you doing today, Rob?
I'm doing good. Mike, yourself?
Very well. Thank you so much for coming on. I appreciate it. Now, today, we're going to be talking about Amsoil. And in a few moments, we're going to show you how you can get the deepest discounts, free shipping, and free gifts when you order your Amsoil products through us. But first, I'm going to ask Rob to give you a quick description of what Amsoil is and why you should consider using Amsoil products in your motorized vehicles.
Thanks, Mike. Amsoil is 100% synthetic oil. Everybody uses Amsoil for a different reason. Some people like the benefits that Amsoil is warranted for 25,000 miles or 1 year. The reason we can do that is because Amsoil doesn't oxidize. It doesn't form the usual carbons, gums, sludges like petroleum oils do. That's why we can keep it in the engines longer. Petroleum oils never do wear out. They oxidize themselves. That's why they have to be changed at 3,000 kilometers. And Amsoil likes the benefit that you only have to change the oil once a year. That saves some money. Some of the people like the benefit of Amsoil is it's a slipperier type lube. By having a slipperier type lube, it cuts down friction and drag. By less friction and drag, engines run 20 to 50 degrees cooler, better gas mileage. Now, Amsoil says 25% more protection than the industry requires is in the Amsoil bottles. My average customer gets about 10% increase in gas mileage. That's a big savings.
Yeah.
And by cutting down friction and drag, for every 10 degrees you cut down the friction and drag, doubles the life of the engine. So by having the engine run cooler, it makes it last longer. Some people like the benefit of the range of the Amsoil. Amsoil's flash point is 425 degrees, and it pours at 50 below zero. Wow. If you ever tried petroleum oil when it's 10 below, it turns to honey. And in the summertime, petroleum oil thins out, and once it thins out, that's when it starts breaking down. So Amsoil's an all-season oil, can give you better gas mileage, longer engine life, less maintenance. It ends up being cheaper over a year's time running Amsoil than it is petroleum oils.
That's amazing. That's amazing. And Amsoil is available for pretty much any motorized vehicle, anything from lawn equipment, cars, trucks, boats, ATVs, motorcycles, snowmobiles.
Yep. And a lot of people phone me up and say, well, what's the benefit of our gear loop? Exactly what I told you about the engine oil. It pours in cold weather, it runs cooler, makes the equipment last longer. And they say, well, what's the benefit of the small engine? Same thing. Makes the engine run cooler, last longer, better performance. So it saves on all the applications that Amsoil has available.
Wonderful, wonderful. So yeah, let's talk now. Hopefully, this has convinced people to think about maybe joining us in the Amsoil experience. Let's talk about some of the discounts and free shipping and how that all happens. I'm going to pop a graphic on the screen, and yeah, by all means, if you want to talk people through how this preferred customer program works.
Amsoil has a number of different programs. One of our main ones is a catalog customer, where somebody can order directly out of our catalog. If they order out of the catalog, they order $100 worth, Amsoil will ship it right to their house. But our best program is our preferred customer. For only $10 for 6 months, you become a preferred customer, you save 25% on all the product. You order $100 worth, they're going to give you free shipping. You don't have to order a whole case. You can mix and match. Say you want 4 bottles of small engine, 7 bottles of 5W30, and a couple of gear loops. You can mix and match. You can order 1 bottle at a time if you want. There's no minimums, no maximums. By being a preferred customer, you save over 25% on all the products you're going to buy. Amsoil sends you extra gifts, a $5 gift certificate on your birthday, $5 when you renew your account and stuff like that. So it's a good way to save on some of the products you want to buy.
For sure, for sure. Yeah, it's an incredible value, and this is the deepest level of discount that anyone can get when ordering Amsoil. Is that correct?
It is. It is.
Wonderful, wonderful. So let's take people through the step-by-step experience of placing an Amsoil order. Then that would include signing up for the preferred customer discount, or sorry, preferred customer program, so they can receive those deepest levels of discount. So let's go to the website. This is what the website's going to look like. These are some screenshots. Once you go to amsoil.com, there's a link in the description, or you can just type that into a browser, amsoil.com. This is the page you land on. At the upper corner of the page there, you see how I've circled in red. That is the link to click, the Join Now link. That will take you to the Preferred Customer Program page, where you can take advantage of all of these discounts and free shipping and everything that we've just been talking about. This is what that page looks like. In the lower right, you're going to click Join Now. This will pop up. You select the duration you'd like, whether it's 6 months or 12 months, and click Add to Cart. Now, once this pop-up goes away, you'll be back on the main page. And the upper left, you'll see where I've got that red arrow. It says Shop. Now you can start shopping for products, and on your very first order, you're going to get these discounts and the free shipping as long as it's over $100. You'll get all of these benefits right away. So once you click Shop, it's going to take you to the product page. There's different types of oils, lubricants, so on and so forth. For the benefit of this exercise we're doing now, I'm just going to click motor oil. It shows different types of motor oil. Let's click gasoline. Now this takes us to an item. It's their synthetic motor oil. And you can see the item there, and there's choices for different viscosities. But take a look at the price. Let's take a closer look. Let's zoom in. But if you've joined the preferred customer program first, you're going to automatically get the deepest levels of discount. That's what we're looking at here. You're saving $3.80 on that quart of oil. Instead of paying $16.29, you're now paying $12.49 for that quart of oil. That is the deepest level of discount you can possibly get. And then you just add the quantity that you'd like. You select any other items that you're thinking about, add them to the cart. And once you click Add to Cart for the final time, you're going to see this come up at the top of the screen. It's going to show your items and your the total that you're at so far. Pardon me. And then you just click View Cart in the upper right, and that'll take you to your cart. Take a close look here at the upper right. That blue box shows that you're getting free shipping. You're eligible for free shipping on this order because it's over $100. That little yellow box shows that you've got the preferred customer membership on your order. That gives you the deepest levels of discounts for the next 6 to 12 months. And then below that, you've got the items that have been selected. For the exercise here, I selected 9 quarts of this signature series, but that brings us up over $100 for the free shipping. We're saving $34.20. And if you're ready to finish, you click Checkout Now, and that takes you to this screen here. If you haven't signed up with an Amsoil account at this point, just click in the lower right to create an account, create a new account. It's going to ask you for some basic information, name and those types of things. Now let's take a closer look. You'll see this gray shaded box. This is a very important box. This is going to ask you if someone has referred you to Amsoil. And if so, please enter my name. My name is Mike LaPierre. It's spelled right there on the screen for the correct spelling. And also the referral number, 304-555-94. That's how you make sure that Rob and I get credit for this. Now, in the interest of full disclosure, I have signed up for Amsoil under Rob. So when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. So if you enjoy these podcasts that we're doing, this is a wonderful way to support the podcast, because when you order using this referral number, Rob and I both benefit. And the commissions I make go directly toward offsetting the cost of doing these podcasts. So I thank you in advance for using my referral number. I very much appreciate it. And once you've done that, you just go into the next screen to enter your payment information, and you're done. Now, once you've placed your order that's over $100, and that order includes your Amsoil Preferred Customer Program, you are now eligible to get a free DVD from myself. Now, this is going to be either a muscle car DVD or a vintage snowmobile DVD. Use the email address on the screen, wkspodcasts@gmail.com. Send me an email. Let me know which DVD you would like me to send you, the muscle car or the vintage snowmobile DVD, and I'll get that right out to you. As you're typing in that email, in the subject line, be sure and type in capital letters "free DVD requests" so it stands out as I'm checking my email, and we'll get that right out to you. So I guess the last thing, Rob, that we wanted to talk about is if someone is considering Amsoil as a business opportunity.
Yes. If anybody has a retail or a commercial account and they would like to buy directly from Amsoil, just send Mike a line. He'll show you how to set up and you can buy directly from Amsoil. But if you are interested in starting your own part-time business, a part-time business that can grow into a full-time income, Mike and I will show you the Amsoil marketing plan. Amsoil has a large selection of products that cover almost every application. So it doesn't matter if you're into snowmobile, boating, or ATVing or hot rods, we have an oil for every application. It's a fun type business that's I really enjoy doing. Where else can I go and have fun and make money doing it? And Mike and I are here to help you all the way along. If you need any help on how to promote or to find new accounts, we're here to help you.
For sure. So when you sign up under that number, this 304-555-94, you're getting Rob and I as a team. Now, Rob has been doing Amsoil for 40 years. Can you believe that? 40 years. So he knows every aspect of this business, and he knows all of the ins and outs of the products. So he'll be able to help you with any kind of product questions or any kind of questions to show you the different business models that you can do with Amsoil. And then the other thing that you get when you sign up under me is I've got a strong background in social media. So if you need some coaching on how to generate Amsoil leads using Facebook and YouTube, I'm happy to coach you with that when you sign up under Rob and I. You get both of us as a team to help you, to coach you, to support you, whatever you need to get you off and running with this business and having fun with it. Like Rob said, it's an enormous amount of fun. If you're like Rob and I and you enjoy going to any kind of boat shows, car shows, motorcycle shows, snowmobile shows, anything with a motor, you like going to those shows, those events, those races, this is a great way to turn that into a income opportunity for you.
Yes. And just by wearing my Amsoil hat at one of these events, people come up and ask me about Amsoil. People don't know where to buy it, and I'm there to help them, show them where they can buy the product.
Perfect. Well, cool. Well, this is great. Any final thoughts, Rob, before we wrap it up?
Amsoil's a fun business. Amsoil's been around since 1968. It was the first synthetic oil to be AI approved.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. And that's very early in the game too, isn't it?
Yes.
For sure. Well, good. Well, thank you so much, everyone, for viewing. Hopefully, we've gotten you excited as we are about the Amsoil products. We'd love it if you could join us either as someone who uses the Amsoil products or to join the Amsoil team as a business opportunity. And we thank you so much for viewing. Have a great day.
You have a good day.